see you gonna bust a vein in your head.
Because you're hollering.
All you got to do is whisper. Why am I dizzy right now? Is it because I'm not whispering? I don't know. Deuteronomy, that's why you're singing so loud. All you gotta do is whisper. Oh! Keep your head. Whoa! You gotta whisper.
Ricky,
Why you hollering?
Fool.
Why you hollering?
Why you hollering at the Lord? Dude, Ricky is a fool for this
Whisper a
one.
prayer. Oh my God.
Be
oh
funny.
My God.
Well, stop yelling at the Lord.
Someone texted me, they said, I always thought inseparable could be used.
Oh, yeah. Inseparable. Boom, boom, boom.
It's Black Music.
Boom.
It's Black Music Month. And oh my God. And that, look, I'm gonna say it again. Music is a gift from God. We should celebrate that music, man. And we get into all these things and we put all our stuff on it. But you know, especially, can I say this? Good music?
Oh, yeah.
Because everything ain't good. Whisper a prayer. Why are you hollering? Why are you
Stop
hollering?
yelling at the Lord. Dude.
Oh, man.
His background singer singing soft. He the only one that's yelling.
We've had other great song leaders. Of course, everybody know Mr. Randy Watson, Sexual Chocolate.
Sexual Chocolate.
They play so good. Don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
Dude. Oh,
you know, the
man.
way his brother said that Black folks, we have a way of taking our pain and finding humor in our pain, right? I mean, it is these things that but it's Black music. I rewatched oh man, Fall Guys Blue. Before I make my point, let's get to the call. Let's call. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, my man.
What's that?
You know, I heard you talk about devil music and stuff like that.
I didn't say nothing about no devil music.
Well, I'm talking about how the saints would say certain music was bad. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, one of my songs is Earth, Wind, and Fire. Keep your head to the sky.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know,
sir.
And they told us that wasn't the mouth. He ain't talking about the mouth. They say, Tammy, play that music backwards, and they talking to the devil. So I got it on my reel, and I still ain't heard nothing say nothing backwards about faith.
You have to smoke something.
Yeah, pretty much.
You listen to it sober.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
But I must have been, because Keep Your Head to the Sky, man, by Earth, Wind. I had all Earth, Wind, man. And that was a cold piece. And they told us, and we said, "You church music, good music, talking about God." They said, "Boy, you talking about the devil."
On that same album is Zanzibar, which is another great song.
Uh-huh.
Keep Your Head to the Sky, man. That I was just listening to, was it Mesa who did it?
I don't like the new renditions of it, man.
But you know what, Meech?
Yeah.
What I like about it, and if people hear me discuss music, I would try to see who the songwriter was, because a great song can be done by a lot of different people. Now, some people get out and kill it, but a great song. But yeah, that Keep Your Head to the Sky is
that was one cold piece, man. I still get in touch with myself when I hear that sometimes. You know?
The Whole World is a Masquerade.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
George Benson, right? Huh?
Yeah, George Benson. Yeah, that's Benson.
No. Masquerade by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, by Earth and Fire.
Oh, okay. But I know George Benson did do a Masquerade.
Yeah, sure did.
Oh yeah, his version was his own song.
Yeah.
It
was dope.
Oh man.
Well, listen, man, I'm gonna get on out the way. I just thought I would imply that, because I remember them telling us, they ain't talking about the master. We talking about, they talking about the devil. The devil ain't master.
Yeah.
Well, even in that line from That's the Way of the World, it says, "A child is born with a heart of gold." Yeah. And basically say, but when he grows up, he loses all innocence. I'm paraphrasing what that line is from That's the Way of the World. I mean, it is, you can find what was the song by Ambrose?
But you got to be careful with Kurt Franklin, though, man. Kurt Franklin, he put on booty shorts, man, and some heels and was running across the stage.
Booty shorts.
Gone, man. The boy lost, man. Did you see him?
Wait a minute. He's still
like
shopping at Baby Gap.
Hey, man, Kurt Franklin done went crazy, man. How can you love on Kurt Franklin, man?
I love Kurt Franklin, man, because you know what? Sometimes you just gotta
with some booty shorts on and the heels, man.
Sometimes you just got a front twerk, man.
And I'm telling you, man, you go out there on the reels, and they got him when they was doing that tour.
Yeah, when they was at Jamaica.
Yeah. He gets up to the edge.
Yeah, Doc. He was,
and that becomes the question about choreography, right?
Yeah.
So when they did that whole 8-minute piece last night, there was choreography. But choirs have been doing choreography for years because just look at New G.
Yeah. Man, even further, so even further back with Orlando Draper.
But not only that, I've not really cared much for Kurt since he got our little Lattimore boys.
Hey, hold on. Wait. No. Meets. Let that ride.
I'm listening.
So
let that ride.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I let it ride. But see, people don't know that I'm in tune.
Okay. Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
We got
you. Let it ride, Doc. Because I was right.
Hey, Doc, I already got you. You said it one time.
My man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but see, because one thing about it, when you in a loop with all kind of things, people probably say, this nigga, Meech just know everything. That's because Meech is into everything.
Man, we appreciate it. Our neighborhood community reporter, Brother Meech. Appreciate you, bro.
Now you disrespecting. See, now you calling me one of them people. You calling me a trusted
There he go.
You calling me
I said you're a neighborhood, you're a Creole, man. You're a neighborhood reporter.
Yeah, no, I'm not a trusted messenger, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, my man.
Yeah, I didn't.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Boy.
What's happening?
What's going on, brother?
Oh man, you kind of calm. What's happening? What you so calm about? Yeah, you hear he just was hey, what's happening, man? We about to get the clapping.
Did you see Ricky Smiley stand up?
I did. I turned it off halfway, man. It was all right. The last one he did. It's on Hulu, right?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was all right.
He told that girl, he said, man, she was washing that girl like she was a Dodge Charger.
Oh yeah. I did see a part of that. And then he took I saw that. I was wrong.
he took that water home.
Yeah, that was hilarious, bro. I saw that.
You know what I have not listened to in a long time, and Ricky Smiley, is those prank calls.
Oh, him and nephew Tommy, man. I listen to that every morning.
The one when he killed that woman's dog. Remember, he called from the veterinarian, and they euthanized the dog. And then the veterinarian died. He goes, "Oh, doctor said that he died." And the woman going, "You killed my dog."
Wait, what about the one where he told him? He said, nephew Tommy said, I'm caught in the closet.
Oh yeah. He was in the closet. They was like, Clark, I can't come down here.
Hey, he told him, he said, call law. He said, I got some illegal stuff in the house.
No, wait. What about the one when he called the church deacon?
Oh yeah,
because the deacon was gonna have surgery. And he started talking about his kidney. He was like, excuse me, brother preacher. Ain't nothing wrong with my kidneys. Ain't nothing wrong with my kidneys.
Hey, he said every cuss word in the book.
Hilarious.
So I was like, I didn't say what you think I am.
He told that white dude, your wife is having a black baby. He went hard.
Yeah.
No, the one that we played in the office was when he called the dude and told him he had another year to pay child support.
Oh, and that dude went off like, you talking about my dog?
And then he go like, well, I paid for that little MF.
Hey, dude, Tommy. What they tell Tommy? Somebody go kick your ass, man.
Tommy be getting
them. Man, they be some of these dudes, man. He don't know. He be messing with some killers.
And he messes with the preachers and the pastors and the deacons. He be having them cussing.
Them so good, man.
He was a church musician.
Yeah, he was.
He was a church musician.
Yeah. When he got that one pastor, when he was like, "Man, I've been coming to church, man, but I wonder how much money is in the offering, man. I need to borrow some money." So the pastor was eating dinner there with his family. So he was like, so man, how much money do we got in there? So the pastor was like, "Excuse me, when? Like, you ever been to church?" And he was like, yeah, I come visit, but would you forgive me? And he was like, "Sure, I'll forgive you." It's like, "Would you forgive me if it was your wife?" He was like, "Now hold on now." Hold on now, what you talking about? He said, "Sir, I will whoop your head messing with my wife."
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, let me tell you
I'm
something,
telling you.
man. Real talk.
Hey, I'm telling you,
Your woman don't get signed
Boy, until
until
somebody else
start
want her.
paying attention to her.
Hey,
She the
them
finest one on the
prank
planet,
calls.
man.
Hey, I'm pretty sure them prank calls got a lot of people second thinking about certain things.
Yeah, Doc.
When they prank call you and they own you and you got your real reaction and the people in the background is going crazy and you just feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh man, you gonna mess around and get a mass shooting or some doggone way.
Something gonna happen.
Because I know that one dude was getting ready to peel his wife's head.
He was going.
He was
when
so
she
mad.
get home, I'm going.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what?
Yeah.
You catch people in the moment.
Yeah.
They're not. But the fact that they and then here's the thing. These people are regular listeners to these radio programs.
Yeah. So how do you
and guess what they say?
Yeah.
And guess what they say? It ain't gonna never happen.
Yeah.
Until it
happen to me.
Until it does.
Until it do.
Yeah.
He didn't got Steve Harvey a couple times.
Yeah, man. You get to the point, man, where people they can push some buttons, man, and then the people, because a lot of times it's the people that know you that kind of set up some situation, and they be in the other room just like,
yeah. But you know what? I would be the person. I just keep hanging up on you because I ain't just gonna keep talking to you for 10 more minutes and you making it even worse.
Call back.
Yeah. They call back because my nephew Tommy did that to this lady, and he was talking about the school, and they was having something at the school, but they was doing be a slave for a day, and that lady went off on the phone. And Tommy, he was talking white, so he was like, "Well, that we would need y'all to just pick cotton for just one more day." And she went off so hard that she was like, "I'm on my way to the school." He had to stop her. I was like, "No, don't drive to the school. This is a prank."
My thing is, how do you keep your composure without busting through that phone, cracking up laughing, and the background got to be complete silence? Nobody could be around you, and you got to hold your composure and keep going.
But with Ricky Smiley, you can hear the people laughing in the
you
background. You hear them laughing, right? They having a great time. And somebody else. You know what? There's a guy right now, very prominent pastor out in the Bronx, New York, and he was my classmate at American Baptist. So, we ain't got nothing else to do but play pranks on each other.
Right.
So we went in his dorm room. We moved everything out of his dorm room. Bed, dresser. We moved everything out of his bedroom. Dog walk him in his dorm room. Dog walk in. That Negro cuss. That Negro cuss.
He didn't walk out the room and come back and make sure he was in the right room.
Man, we thought it was a great little prank. It's like you come in and all your stuff is gone. I mean, everything. We took everything out the room.
Yeah, but that's all to ask you about Steve Harvey. I'll catch you up, brother. And make sure you watch that game tonight, though.
Oh yeah.
Man,
all right.
This cat right here, man. Yeah, dude, we gonna cause an accident, man. Yeah.
All right, you listen to Community Voice. We're going to watch a neighborhood altercation. We're going to be right back.
Put theme music to the fight.
AURN News.
I'm Jamie Jackson.
A new solar factory in rural Ohio is aiming to do more than just build panels. It's reshaping a local economy, one job at a time. Robert N. Black III is an industrialist and one of the only Black executives leading a renewable energy project of this scale. His 2-gigawatt plant, called Ohio Sunshine, is being built on the site of a shuttered coal plant in Conshohocken County. It's expected to bring 173 permanent jobs and 400 more during construction. Black says the impact is personal for him and the community.
Upskill that blue-collar workforce to a green-collar workforce and really create a renewable energy future for Conshohocken County, Ohio. And what's more than that is save a lot of that super commuting, because when they can work at home and don't have to do that super commuting, that means more time to take their kids to school, more time they can spend at home with their family.
For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
Here's your updated forecast. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high in the mid-80s. Winds out of the southwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then for tonight, a chance for some showers and thunderstorms, increasing clouds, a low near 59. By Thursday, a chance for showers and storms, cloudy, high of 66 degrees. And Friday, a chance for showers and storms, a high of 72. Saturday, a slight chance for rain, high of 67. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on AM 860, The Voice.
It is with profound sadness that we announce the passing of Dr. Gerald W. Jones, the esteemed CEO of Courier Communications, a prominent figure in Wisconsin's media landscape. In 1964, Gerald Jones set out to create a platform for underrepresented voices and to serve the Milwaukee African American community. In his honor, the Milwaukee Courier will publish a special tribute edition in July to commemorate Dr. Jones's 86th birthday. Community members, business partners, and public officials are invited to share tributes and reflections as a part of this special commemorative issue. The Jones family will announce a live celebration service at a later date.
That we may see.
It's that time. The Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce is hosting a Taste of Black Milwaukee featuring the 24th annual Men Who Cook competition, Saturday, June 14th. Come on out with your friends and family to Dr. Howard Fuller Collegiate Academy starting at 11 a.m. and be a judge of this year's competing dishes. This is also a celebration of our men and fathers in the community who cook. That's Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Dr. Howard Fuller Collegiate Academy, 2228 North Bell R. Phillips Avenue. $1 for one sample ticket, $20 for a wristband, and unlimited samples. See you there.
Still looking for something for Dad this Father's Day? Stop by Fleet Farm and get him a gift he really wants at the best price guaranteed. Like Columbia apparel and footwear, now 25% off. Or get him a Wildview video trail cam for just $29.99. And what dad wouldn't love a Milwaukee M12 5-tool combo kit for under $200? For these and more last-minute Father's Day deals, stop by your local Fleet Farm or check out our latest weekly ad at fleetfarm.com.
The Granville Blues R&B and Gospel Fest 10th anniversary is the party that never ends. 2 weekends back-to-back, June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Then June 27th, 28th, and 29th, each day from 12 noon until 10 p.m. There will be food, fun, shopping, and great music all in one place. 8633 West Brown Deer Road, rain or shine. This event is free and open to the public. So tell a friend to meet you at the Granville Blues R&B and Gospel Fest 10th anniversary. Remember, it's the party that never ends.
Set sail this June for a boundless bounty at Potawatomi. Come aboard, and you might win a share of $300,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Boundless bounty this June at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Your win is waiting. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
860 AM 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice. Southside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
Welcome back, and this is Black Music History Month. He gave him something. Yeah. Black Music Month, and I was watching. I watched that documentary on Rick James, and I'm just, because it's Black History Month, Black Music Month. Sly Stone died yesterday. So who would you, and callers, y'all can, who would you, in terms of funk, who's the funkiest of the funk?
I think the funkiest of the funk is Bootsy.
Really?
Yeah, I think Bootsy is the funkiest. It's just, and I understand that a lot of these cats, they was under the influence when they made the music, and funk was the music of that era. So it was who can create the funkiest bass line.
Not Rick James.
Well, Rick James. Now Bootsy played for Rick James.
Yeah.
So that whole era of music was funk. I think who played it the best in that era, I think it was Bootsy and his crew. Because them boys, man, they got
Rubber Band.
Huh?
Bootsy's Rubber Band.
Yeah, man. And them cats got high as Research Monkey, and I mean, came up with some tunes, man. That I'd rather be with you. Ooh, just that whole pattern.
Got the munchies for your love.
There you go. So them cats was hot in the studio, like, man.
I mean, come on, man. Look. There's always been a level of inebriation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, Louis Armstrong loved to talk about how he smoked weed.
Yeah.
I mean that. But I'm just saying, in terms of, Rick James, I
What do gospel singers do to get to that level?
They pray.
Well, no. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, man.
What's the one that's mad at everybody right now because she loves Hennessy?
Don't do that though. Because see, I'm real careful with walking that line because we all struggle with something. So I mean, we all struggle with some kind of demon. And it's just some people, the demon is magnified because of the spotlight man at the end. But it doesn't really take. I mean, okay. If you look at David had a skill. No. David had a skill. You stupid, Keith.
David was blowing it up.
David had a skill. Dude, you stupid. David had a skill, but he also had his own demon. Like he loved women, but he still was able to play.
He loved power.
And he loved power.
And he was duplicitous.
So he was
selfish.
Yeah. And he still had the ability to play spirits off of people. Like he was anointed. He was still anointed in his mess.
Praise is not predicated on perfection.
Exactly.
Praise is not predicated on piety.
I like how
praise is just what it is appreciation.
Yeah.
I don't know. When people say what is inspiration or what is divinely inspired, I just had a chance, if you have access to this on the History Channel, there's a great documentary on Christianity and the Bible. Mm-hmm. I would suggest people, if you get a chance, just watch it. Because there's a lot that goes on there. And the point I'm trying to make is, and I say it all the time, human beings create scripture, they create dogma, they create theology, but our footprints are all over it.
Yeah.
So, you know, what is us and what is the divine sometimes is kind of hard to discern. It was like Dr. Lucas, my New Testament professor in college, he said, you know, how do you know you're called?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what burning bush get struck by lightning? What? So the point is that there's these things out here that we're trying to make sense out of the divine. And I always tell people what a fruitless exercise. I don't think you're ever going to be able to clearly understand creation and the creator. But yeah, I mean, people do a lot of things. Those are human beings. I talk about, let's just keep it 100. When you look at gospel music, for example, many of the greatest gospel artists were gay.
And that's true.
But now I take it that
it's true.
But I think that a lot of that music is birthed out of their pain of being marginalized and being bullied, right? And then what do you pour yourself into? I remember Mother LaValle was telling this story many, many years ago about Jeffrey LaValle. And she said he used to get picked on. He used to get picked on a lot.
Sure did.
And she said he would just come in and he would just express it.
See, a lot of songs is birthed out of pain.
Are your pain? I mean, so when people, you know, you know, or people having this sense of, especially songs about repentance and redemption, how we get to a low point in our lives, either physically, emotionally, spiritually, and birth out of that pain. You know, it is out of suffering. Sometimes you get the greatest art.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it is. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was saying how I'm really evolving and to begin to understand how we need to stop marginalizing people because they're different. And I understand that we could use, because the first thing they went to me was scripture. That's why I tell people, if you can, and I know a lot of people won't offer it, if you can do for my Christian practitioners, if you can do a course in Old Testament survey or do a course in New Testament survey, to get us to understand how it was put together, the canon, understanding that there's translations, mistranslations, misapplications. So try to get to that truth that's embedded, you know, in the scriptures. And we feel good about other people's, and I hate to put it this way, but it's true. We feel sometimes we get a certain sense of satisfaction from other people's suffering because we can say that ain't me. But like that Luther song always referred to, hearts get broken all the time. The problem is this time the heart that's broken is mine. Until you put in that situation where now your humanity has been affected. And I think so. I appreciate the creativity. You know, it was contradiction, you know, like people go and they would do their, you know, gospel performance and then party like rock stars.
So, you know, Fred Hammond said that song, Running Back to You, he wrote that song, I think he said he was 17, 18, 19, something like that. He was young.
Where was it commissioned?
Yeah, when he was with commission. But he was saying how, you know, they was out on the road and he was out on the road and it was, you know, different women and, you know, he was doing this and doing that.
For the Winans.
Yeah, he was playing for the Winans. Yeah. So he was saying how, you know, they was out doing that and he just got to the point he got tired of after the shows, they'll do this and do that. That song actually came from him finally getting to the point of his lifestyle. He's tired of his lifestyle.
There was a program I went to was featuring quartet groups. And I was amazed at the number of groupies.
What? Man, crazy.
That these groups travel.
Crazy.
I mean, these are human beings, y'all. And I think that we have, and I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying I'm acknowledging that it exists. And that, you know, what you see behind closed doors is not necessarily what you see
in public.
Man. And but it was something I heard, you know, obviously I must be a fan of Yvette Plunder because she was saying that, you know what? Your pulpit should line up with your life.
It should.
And what she was calling out was closeted leadership, and you are preaching one thing, but then you live in something else.
But
that is what a hypocrite is. A hypocrite.
But isn't that what my pastor was trying to say?
What do you mean?
That Baptist folks ain't saved. Isn't that what he was trying to say?
There's some truth.
Because you always say that the difference between Baptist and Kojic is what?
Baptist smoke on the parking lot, Kojic smoke at home.
Pretty much. Message.
Time for
know your history.
Right. Message.
I mean that we all got.
But see that, and because that's what you, when you speak to quartets, that's typically Baptist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, do they go.
But choirs,
they go too.
Choirs.
Oh man, well,
see, choirs is even worse because normally,
a bunch of them.
Wait, hold on, because normally, you know, when we was on tour, you know, we was traveling like 100, 200 some people sometimes, right? And so they'll try to pair you up and put you in rooms with people. And what I've noticed was it was plenty tenors that was pairing up with each other that was fruit by the foot. So you knew what was going on in those rooms when the lights went on. But you had choir directors that tried to keep the straight men out of the sopranos and altos rooms, but you putting the tenors that you know was fruit by the foot in the same room.
That the road.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I've seen it.
People need to decompress, man. And I ain't gonna lie. Some of the best drugs I ever got, I got from people in church. So that ain't you know, this idea that somehow, you know, people are exempt. But I think we should be careful of not throwing stones.
Yeah,
because you know, many of us, if not all of us, are in houses of glass. And so I think, you know, for me to get on this group over here and then it's run over here. My buddy who doesn't go to church, we were watching Donald Lawrence's first finale, that video, which is great. They did in Atlanta, you know, where and I mean, Donald Lawrence.
Oh yeah, he's true.
Donald Lawrence.
Excellent songwriter.
So my buddy loves that video. And we watch, he come by, man. He said, man, put on that video. Love that video. I said, I want you to notice something. You see all these men in church?
Yeah.
On a normal Sunday, you don't have that many men in church. But you had a whole lot of men
at the musical.
At this musical because let's just be honest, they were, you know, and then
it trying not to say it.
Yeah, because you know, I don't want to come across as being homophobic. I just want
or bashing.
Yeah, I just want, but that was the reality. Look, if I go to a gospel concert, I know I'm going to see X number of gay men.
That is true.
And if I sit up here and deceive myself,
but that's any denomination. Well, I'll say.
No, but I'm just saying that
Baptist and or Kojic.
Yeah, and I'll put it out there and I hope it's not taken pejoratively, but show me a great gospel choir that don't have any gay men in it. Show me one.
Then it's not a great gospel choir, then, is it?
My point is, and it has very little to do with their sexual orientation, except the fact that it's like it might be attractive for a lot of different reasons. I can't speak for that. I just know my experience has been that I'm going to be exposed to primarily gay men and probably a lot of gay women. I mean, it's there. It's just part of what we do. And we have and the church came up with don't ask, don't tell. But the reality is, okay, but then does it matter? And should it matter? And then people get in, well, the scriptures say, oh, here we go. It doesn't. God created everything and everybody. Now that's according to the book of Genesis. Now, unless someone has a counter narrative where certain people were not created by God, I'd love to be able to show me that narrative. but God created all of us.
Wait, now,
Be
now,
careful,
wait,
y'all
hold
gonna
on,
y'all gonna make Meech call.
Hold on. That is true. God did create every last one of us.
Period.
Every last one.
It
of
was
us.
a period. It wasn't a comma.
Right. Hold on.
It wasn't a colon.
No. That is true.
Okay.
Every last one of us got the same amount of veins in our body.
For the most part.
Same amount of bones in
For
the
the most
body.
part.
So it.
I must have had some stuff removed.
Right, unless I'm with the doctor. Unless I'm with the Dr. Willie. Why that bone not in?
Oh, you don't need that.
You don't need that bone. I came with that bone.
I want it back in my body.
It's like at Dr. Willie, but okay.
Sound like an old alley mechanic. Oh, you need that screw.
You
Like
don't
what?
need that. But it came with the
It
car.
came with the car.
Oh,
Yeah, but this is where I gotta draw the line.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
Because I got a pencil, so I gotta draw.
No,
it.
you don't. All I'm saying, because we don't have to go down the rabbit hole.
No, we ain't go down the rabbit holes. No
All
more.
I'm just
The
saying
rabbit holes
is,
turn to
but as
something
I read that narrative, and God created everything, and it was good. Period.
That is true.
There was no commas.
That is true.
There was no semicolons.
That is true.
It was.
But you got to be careful with that, though.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna tell you why.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm just saying we all created.
We are created
by God.
Right.
All of us.
But just using this. God did create you, but He didn't create you to be
that's a
fat
different-
or skinny. That's a choice that you made.
That
If
gets into a little bit
I'm
later.
just saying.
Because you can have thyroid issues that will cause you to gain weight.
Come on, Debo. You always playing devil's advocate. You ain't nothing but a devil over there.
This dude,
You
man.
know what I'm talking
The
about.
devil's
man.
important too.
Come on, man. He hot.
He plays
Devil
his role.
important.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and let's get back to that because as everybody know, when I first started off, I explained what the devil's advocate is. So just so people will know, the devil's
Debo.
advocate, the devil's advocate,
Streetcar.
was a priest who, if Jermaine had been nominated to be a Catholic saint, part of the veneration process, venerating means to elevate you to saint. It was the devil's advocate's job to go in and do the investigation. And it goes down to, can your righteousness withstand the inquiry of the devil?
So he would purposely try to.
No.
No?
You go in to see, check. In fact, people said that there were 3 miracles. He goes in and verifies the 3 miracles.
Oh.
The devil's advocate is the person basically testing. You could almost say that the person who tempted Jesus,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, when he came out the wilderness,
yeah.
would be the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You know, you went in because Jesus went in for this certain level of spiritual preparation,
Yeah.
and then he tempted him with these things: power,
Yeah.
position,
Yeah.
right, and prosperity, money,
Yeah.
and that materialism. Those were symbolically what it is. That's why I would say any young person that's entering the ministry, maybe your first message should be around Jesus and Jesus in the wilderness and the temptations, because what you will find, and this has not just in Christianity, but in human development, period, that remember we talked about the thirst and the desire for power.
Yeah.
The idea of recognition. How many celebrities spent all this time trying to be famous only to discover fame comes with a cost?
With a price. Yeah, you right, Doc.
And now they want their privacy.
Now they want out. Yeah.
Right. You know, because it looks like it. And then here's the other thing we do. As human beings, we have just great attributes, but we also have a lot of insecurities. We have a lot of self-doubt about ourselves. In our private moments, we know us. You know, and people might go on and say, man, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then you go home and realize I'm not the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? And so then I anguish and I think we were talking about our pain, right? I heard people talk about their demons, you know, all those things. And so we're trying to work through that. Yesterday when Shakina was talking about that childhood trauma, many of us have been traumatized as children, right? There was some trauma. Either this it happened or it was directed at us, and then it shows the resilience of children that you know, they get through it, they bury it, and then we get to a certain point now where it comes out. Every time when I was watching this whole thing on Rick James, you keep hearing this recurring thing about demons, right? And somebody pointed out that healing is inside out, right? That our healing, whether it's spiritual healing, emotional healing, psychological healing, it happens on the inside. Now, we can put a Band-Aid on it, but that Band-Aid may or may not be leading to healing. And so what does healing look like? And understand that maybe in that process, it's a growth process that we have in terms of that. But we go through a lot, man. And you know, me and Keon used to argue about this. I think he came around to it. I would always say, Keon, you have 3 lives: your public life, your private life, and your secret life.
Yep.
Now, if you stupid enough to share your secret life with people, be prepared, because you're not going to get the compassion. You're not going to get the empathy. What you're going to catch is a whole lot of judgment. God forgives us. People don't. People won't. That, you know, a lot of times there's things that's going on, and it's not so much we're worried about God's reaction. We're worried about the people's reaction. That's the world we live in. How would they see us? You know, you know, because God created everything. God looks at me, sees things, but Jermaine looks at me and he sees Keith. You know, and that's what's really fascinating about the power of real love. The power of real love. Well, isn't it something that love covers a multitude of faults? And that line, I love from Earth, Wind, and Fire, lovers' eyes are blessed because they only see the best. The people I love, I'm not taken aback by their imperfections. As a matter of fact, my first reaction is to cover them. That's my boy. That's my girl. I'm gonna cover them.
That'll be just like, you know, just like you said, for your loved one, and you know, man, that they got whatever type of issues, but you see somebody else trying to talk about that issue. You like, hey, hold on. No. You ain't gonna do that.
I can talk about Jermaine,
but you can't.
You can't talk about Jermaine. And I know Jermaine is jacked up. Caller, welcome to the program. He's my boy, but you can't talk about him. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, Keith, what's happening?
What's happening, man?
I just wanted to talk about we had a conversation that was going on that I missed. I guess I tuned out of Michelle's show for a minute, and then there was a person, you know, who mentioned Davy Crockett as if he was mentioning some type of hero, and this person, I believe, went to historic Milwaukee, Washington, where I'm sure you know James Gordon, right, Keith?
Yes.
He was one of our history and social studies teachers. Now, the basketball factory that Washington was, a lot of times we might skip that 4th, that 5th hour, and sometimes that 6th hour. But we made sure we had Mr. Gordon's history class in the morning or late in the day. He also taught Black history and social studies, so it was kind of hard to get into his class because everybody wanted to learn from this man. And with being Father's Day, I do want to also thank all my mentors who my dad and my mom sent me to, and he's definitely one of them. He would always call us to the window, Keith, and there would be certain kids who were, you know, during the open lunch, and they would stay gone all day. And he would say, "Look at them fools, y'all." And we said, "Why are we looking at them skipping?" He said, "Because they're running from an education." And I can only assume that anybody who, as our brother, you know who, I won't say his name today, he went to Washington High School. He must have skipped Mr. Gordon's class because he made it clear that Davy Crockett was not a hero, that he actually went to Texas and fought in the Alamo to preserve slavery. So when I fact check you for carrying on that legacy, you shouldn't be mad because it should be something that you're proud of. If you believe in Davy Crockett, you believe in slavery. If you believe in Andrew Jackson and how great the Alamo was because you watched it in cowboy movies because you was too busy trying to be a pimp or an assistant pimp, which I believe that, you know, that individual was at best. A Huggy Bear type of character of a pimp. If you were busy doing that, you probably started early in high school and you just can't let that go 50 years later. But this shows how ignorance can be dangerous and how sometimes you can have opportunity right there and miss out on it. And I'm just happy that, I felt responsible enough to my parents that there were certain things that I was going to learn while I was in high school, and beyond. And I only wish, like Howlin' Wolf said, the Muddy Waters, that all of my brothers, like the one whose name I won't mention, could be free like that, free-minded, and then they wouldn't be as willing to join the Confederate cult.
It's interesting, real quickly, this idea of truth and how do we get to truth? Truth puts us sometimes in a very uncomfortable situation, especially if we've been brought up and taught that certain thing was the truth, only to find out factually it was not in fact true. And you had all this iconographic things go on where you have George Washington never told a lie, Abe, honest Abe. But then we actually go and do a historical dive and we find out that these are very human people with human frailties, right? And they act on it. And the interesting thing is, as we approach Juneteenth Day, what was the last state to end the Civil War?
And
Texas.
they were a country of their own for about a decade, right, Keith?
Right, until they found out that they needed the United States, that mutual, da-da-da-da-da. But it was Texas, right?
Yeah.
Juneteenth was celebrated first where? In Texas.
Galveston.
Yes, sir. And so, yes, there was this resistance, and it was about enslavement. And for all these folks who are trying to say the Civil War was about states' rights, it was the right to the state to enslave African bodies.
And so those flags that MAGA carries, that some of the callers who call in support, that is actually the enemy. There's never been, I think I said that on the show, there's never been an enemy who actually physically attacked America. So when you hear these evangelical people talking about how other people who are Americans hate America, there's never been any group of people as large as the Confederacy that tried to start its own country and overtake America in that fashion.
And think about this. You will never see a SWAT sticker. SWAT stickers are illegal in Germany, right?
Yes,
the Nazi Party is illegal. And how do we sit up and have a flag that was about insurrection and overthrowing a sovereign government, and people are still allowed to run around with it and to see what they're doing? I'll get back to some of this about renaming these bases because we need to talk about that. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. Going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
Let me do this real quick call. I'm going to grab you, but let me do this because, we'll get off and then I won't. These whole renaming of bases. What I did not realize was until, and actually there's a story this morning in the New York Times on it. Oh boy, I don't want to do that. Says Trump says Army bases will revert to Confederate names. Sort of. Here's what they did. It was an act of Congress that changed those names, right? So the way that they're getting around it is, so for example, Fort Bragg, and that's where he just was giving that highly political speech, was briefly renamed Fort Liberty. In a statement, the Army said it would take the immediate action to restore the old names of the bases originally honoring Confederates, but the bases' names would instead honor other American soldiers with similar names and initials. For example, Fort Eisenhower in Georgia, honoring President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who led the D-Day landing during World War II, will revert to the name of Fort Gordon, once honoring John Brown Gordon, the Confederate slave owner and suspected Ku Klux Klan member. This time around, however, the Army said the base would instead honor Master Sergeant Gary Gordon, right, who fought in the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia. Mr. Trump, however, contradicted the explanation in his announcement at one point, saying that the Army would be restoring the name of one Army base in Virginia, Fort Gregg Adams, to Fort Robert E. Lee, previously named for the commander of the Confederate Army. The Army said in a statement that the base would be renamed in honor of Private Fitz Lee, a member of the all-black Buffalo Soldiers who was awarded a Medal of Honor after serving in the Spanish-American War. So this is how they're getting around it. They're doing similar names, similar sounding names, same effect. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir, Mr. Parris. I apologize for calling back, but I'll be brief. There was something I was remiss about stating that when I initially called regarding the current president and Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and I recollected that it referenced what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he gave the Swan Song address in the garden, and he was speaking about when Satan casts out Satan, like Elon Musk is satanic, in my opinion, and as well as his brother, and the Holy Bible, Matthew 12:26 says that, and if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Because if Satan and the devil are intricately interwoven and working with one another, he diminishes, or the satanic force is diminished by one Satan going against the other Satan. So, as the scripture states, that now that we are seeing the Satans calling each other out, before the world, that's representative of their kingdom being divided. And as the Bible also teaches that a house divided against itself, it cannot stand. So again, we should think about what the scripture has taught us, and especially how it directly reflects what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught and is teaching, and what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has carried on thus far. Thank you so much.
Got a few minutes left. Okay. Now, he caught my attention when he said that the scripture says, okay, it said that, let's see. All right. Matthew 12:25, and Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So Lincoln then went in and paraphrased what it was, but that's taken from Matthew 12:25. A house divided by itself cannot stand. Got a few minutes left. Jermaine asked me who I like tonight.
Yeah.
OKC. I'm not getting on the Pacers bandwagon. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down with the Thunder.
You gonna go down swinging?
I'm gonna go down with the Thunder. And everybody know I'll get off of. I'll jump on and off the bandwagon, man. But yeah.
So it's more like the Titanic and the band that was on Titanic. I'm more like if Kool and the Gang was playing on a Titanic and it was going down, we'll be wrapping up chords, we grabbing instruments, we jumping off, getting on to what's gonna get us over the
how
cliff.
difficult it would be to book a black band on a boat.
That is cold.
Right. Because it was the boat that got us over here in the first place.
Yeah.
And then all that water.
Yeah.
So it would be that's why cruises are so, because I'm not a cruise fan. I don't understand cruises, but people, they swear by cruises. They talk about how relaxing the cruise is.
It is though.
But man, that's too much time on the water and too many people on the boat.
Yeah, man. I went to the Bahamas one year, and we was on the boat. It was a couple decks. We was on the boat, but once you go down to the bottom of the boat where they was, it was like the restaurants and all that other stuff at, you can look out and see the water and see the fishes swimming around, and it was just beautiful. Like the water just clear blue.
And there's something about those currents that make the water where because you can see stingray, you can see
all,
sharks,
man.
You just see all these. We did a day trip to Bimini, and that was the only time I've ever been to the Bahamas. And you could. It's fascinating. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. I think that OKC is a better team on paper, but again, the game is not played on paper.
Yeah.
And if they just have to have a mindset that you cannot take these dudes for granted. And even though everybody's saying, like, if you start at the beginning of the season, other than outside of the state of Indiana, okay, that ain't too bad.
Yeah,
the deuce and a quarter.
You see it? Hey man, there's been a lot of old schools coming.
A lot of classics coming through here, man.
Man, the past couple minutes, man.
Yeah, that was a white.
Yeah, he was clean.
Deuce and a quarter, clean.
It looked like he still had a bucket seats in there.
Yeah, but what kind of gas can you put in those cars?
87.
So you don't need a catalytic converter.
87 in there.
Yeah. So you going with Indiana, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest, I'm like you. I look at the paper and I look at OKC on paper, and they look dominant, man. They look like they should blow these boys.
And they came out the West.
Yeah,
well, the West wasn't that strong as it was in the past.
So but it is tougher than the East this year.
Yeah, not by much.
Not by much, but it is tougher than the East this year. And I just think Indiana, man, they just hungry, man. And when you're hungry, there's a difference between ghosts and goblins. And I think Indiana is a goblin right now.
Great American boxers because they're not hungry.
Yeah.
And one of the things about boxers was, there's a hunger there. And maybe OKC is as hungry. Maybe
I think Indiana's starving. OKC might be hungry, but Indiana's starving. So when you got that dynamic, you starving. Like, Doc, if I'm starving, it's a chance that you're gonna start looking like steak.
Oh yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's because I'm starving.
I just think that when you see how they play and they play well, OKC, they can be a very dominant team. Yeah. I think though there still is a relatively young team.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they always have that killer instinct.
Yeah.
That you really got to have. You know what? When I play AFY, this is something about kids.
Yeah.
Kids got a killer instinct.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If they up by 40, they trying to go up by 50.
Yeah, Doc, they trying to run you up out of there.
And especially if you go to the same junior high school, because you're gonna hear it tomorrow. Oh man, so the kids have they have a thing, but I think if they do what they need to do, maybe they'll split in Indiana.
Now they have to split because if Indiana win these two in Indiana,
it's gonna be tough.
Because then you can afford to lose in OKC because you can win it all at home. So if you win these, you go back to OKC 3-1. So you can lose that game.
Well, I know that.
Because
I know the NBA would like to see 7 games.
Of course.
I would like to see 7 games.
Give me something else to do.
I'd like to see 7 games. And let me tell you what I have circled. I'm getting ready to circle it on my calendar. The New York Liberty against the Minnesota Lynx. They were in the finals last year.
Yeah.
They're both undefeated this year.
Yeah.
I cannot wait until they
that's right,
play.
that's right,
Oh
they
my
are.
God, the Lynx, man.
They look good.
Right. And then they whooped up on the Chicago, but Chicago lost their two point guards, 2 starting guards.
Somebody said that they think Angel Reese is overrated. I'm like, what?
I think she's good. She's not great.
Yeah.
And you can see some things in her game. And I think she just needs to make the adjustments, man. When she's doing the hustle plays, offensive boards, man, she's a beast.
Yeah.
But now that they don't have who just went down, not Van Lipton, she's playing. What's the other girl's name? But their point guard went down with ACL, so they can triple team her. Yeah. And they don't have outside shooters. Oh, Vandersloot. Vandersloot went down. But yeah, I'm circling that. New York Liberty, Minnesota Lynx. That's probably going to be the game of the season in WNBA. Debo, thank you. Jermaine, thank you. Callers, we thank you. Let me thank Bishop Lester Love. Let me thank the Right Reverend Leon Rami Love. All of you who've been part of the program today. The good Lord willing, Creek don't rise up to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go to this place.
Oh, yeah.